I think this is great. I have to share. Here are some examples of emotional hiding that helps us. Anticipation, looking forward to realistic good things, such as spending time with a loving relationship, provides hope when we're in pain. 2, forgiveness. Emotional hiding, forgiveness, interesting categorization. Letting go of the demand for others to repair us can eventually free us from the pain of isolation, helplessness, and bitterness. We must remember, though, that this letting go, forgiveness, is a process and not just a one-time event. Letting go of the demand for others to repair us. I like that. Forgiveness. It's not someone else's responsibility to come and fix me, even if they did the damage. 3, perspective. And usually they're not going to be the appropriate person. Sometimes you're that lucky, but we have to be open to the appropriate safe place for healing to come from. Perspective. This is getting the big picture on our pain. Perspective helps us see our situation from a broader view and closer to the true reality, which is God's viewpoint. When Jack began experiencing some symptoms of a midlife burnout crisis, he read several books on the subject and talked to professionals. His situation was still very difficult, but greater understanding or a new perspective helped calm his fears. This is just a side example. Humor. Similar to perspective, humor can be a helpful way to live with a painful situation. I love humor. It's great. Great coping hiding. A friend of mine who suffers from severe memory losses told me, it's got its advantages. I keep meeting new people. She was not denying her pain, but her humor eased its intensity. Patience. The ability to delay gratification is helpful to the person who faces a chronically difficult situation. Patience, an important aspect of self-control, involves living responsibly in the present while waiting for the future. The scriptures recommend it. You too be patient. Strengthen your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. James 5:8. I always say patience is best learned through waiting. It just generally annoys people, but it's true. Adjusting, compensation. Quite often when we're aware of a deficit in a relationship, we make adjustments to compensate for that deficit. For example, one woman who was unable to confront a friend face to face who had hurt her communicated to her by letter until she felt safe enough to talk to her in person. She adjusted for her fragility. I love that. Confession, number 7. These all have numbers, but anyway. Confession. Confession is a healthy defense because it takes our injured or isolated parts from their destructive aloneness and brings them into connection with other forgiven and forgiving people. And that's huge, like in AA, your 4th step where you write everything out and then you read it to somebody and you think it's just going to be the worst thing. And it's a very freeing experience. 8, making restitution. Okay, so it's funny he has that as number 8 on here because it's actually like number 8 in the AA steps. So confession is not, that would be step number 5, but 8, making restitution, is usually going out, making amends, apologizing, taking ownership of what you've done. I've done that. It's quite a process, but I have to say, I think incredible for your character development because you have to go apologize to people for things you don't want to, and creates a lot of interesting things. I guess I should add that to a story segment. My hairstylist always says, Emily, you sound like a pathological actor. All these weird stories. Just come over here and tell some of my weird stories. So number 8, making restitution. When our actions have hurt another person, we need to do as much as possible to repair the damage. Rather than being merely an exercise in massaging a guilty conscience, genuine restitution is motivated by compassion for another's suffering. Putting it on hold is number 9, mature sublimation. If we're to remain aware of all of our emotionally painful feelings constantly, in most cases we couldn't function. When we deliberately decide to focus temporarily on another task, relationship or subject, is not denial, it's waiting until there's a safe enough relational connection and until we are in an appropriate state of mind to bring painful issues to light. So that's smart, especially at work. Some things have to just stay at the door, So I thought those were really helpful as cool ways to think about positive ways to emotionally hide. It's very helpful when we're going through painful things to think, hey, maybe a funny movie is really great right now. Maybe I just need to put this on hold and distract myself. Maybe I need to go be with a friend. Like, these are things that are smart coping, healthy coping.